at least one of these shows I have brought up before. Now, a few of these shows I don't know about. I never watched them. But it's funny how there typically is a consensus amongst geeks when it comes to certain TV shows that should have kept going. And I always wonder, like, I don't know much about Nielsen ratings. And here's another thing. I have never met a person in my entire life that had a Nielsen box on their house, on their equipment. I have never met one person. Now, I'm sure many of you have probably met somebody and maybe you've actually had one, but I don't know if that was ever an accurate depiction of what's actually being watched. And I think that's why you had a bunch of shows that were cut. And you had people like me that were like, yo, why did you cut this show anyway? Let's get into this article from fandompulse.com. 7 sci-fi shows that deserved more than one season. And no, we're not talking about Firefly. I think Firefly deserved more than one season. Now, I did not watch the first season when it aired. I watched it after the fact. And of course, I watched the movie. And it was good. It was a really good show that should have kept going. Everyone mentions Firefly when discussing permanently canceled sci-fi shows, but plenty of other series deserved longer runs. These 7 shows prove that great science fiction television extends far beyond Joss Whedon's space western. Space above and beyond 1995 and 1996. And you already know, I already did a video on this. This is a sticking point for me. This show should have continued, should have never been removed off the air. Oh man, that still grinds my gears. Created by Glen Morgan and James Wong, this military sci-fi series followed the 58th Squadron, a group of Marine fighter pilots thrust into a desperate war after Earth faces attack from the mysterious alien Chigs. The show starred Morgan Weezer, Kristen Cloak, and James Morrison as pilots fighting for humanity's survival 16 light years from home. Space Above and Beyond delivered gritty space combat with genuine emotional weight. The series explored themes of sacrifice, brotherhood, and the cost of war without the sanitized approach of other sci-fi shows. Its realistic portrayal of military life combined with excellent special effects created something unique in 1990s television, and it did. I am telling you it did. I always say, for people who have never seen this show, this is a show you need to go look up. I'm telling you, this is one you want to see. This was a good one. Now, this is another show. I remember another one that I watched. I still had my traveling job at the time and just happened upon this show. I can't remember exactly how. Was I home or was I overseas? Anyway, started watching it and it pulled me in. And the plot twist in this show was probably one of the best plot twists I've ever seen in a sci-fi show. It was really good. Sci-Fi's Ascension appeared to follow the crew of a generation ship launched in the 1960s on a century-long voyage to populate a new world, starring Tricia Helfer, Gil Bellows, and Brian Van Holt. The miniseries began as a murder mystery aboard the starship before revealing its shocking twist. The entire ship was actually a massive Earth-based simulation with hundreds of people unknowingly serving as test subjects in a covert government experiment. And I'm telling you, I was like, oh, this show is so fire. And they cut it one season in and they said, that's enough. We're not going to give you any more. The revelation transformed what seemed like a standard space opera into something far more sinister and compelling. The psychological implications of discovering your entire reality is fabricated combined with the ethical questions surrounding such experimentation, provided rich material that deserved exploration beyond 3 episodes. Ascension's premise offered endless possibilities for examining identity, reality, and human nature. The full series could have developed into something truly special, and I agree wholeheartedly. Now, the other shows, I did a brief look through this article. The other shows on this list, I am not fully familiar with. Like, I don't remember this one from 1995. I may have watched it, but I don't remember. So this is Legend. How many people out there remember this show? I don't remember this show. Richard Dean Anderson starred as Ernest Pratt, a hard-living dime novel writer in the 1870s, constantly mistaken for his fictional hero, Nicodemus Legend. When scientist Janice Batroc uses the Legend persona to help townspeople with inventive gadgets, Pratt reluctantly assumes his character's role to fight injustice. This UPN launch series combined Western adventure with steampunk elements years before the genre became popular. Anderson's charismatic performance and the show's clever premise deserve more than one season to develop its unique blend of historical fiction and science fantasy. Interesting. This UPN had a lot of shows back in the day that I just did not pay attention to. I kind of missed. Like, I missed the wave of these shows. Crusade, 1999. J. Michael Straczynski's Babylon 5 spinoff followed Captain Matthew Gideon, Gary Cole, and the crew of the starship Excalibur as they search for a cure to a deadly nanovirus plague threatening Earth. With only 5 years before the virus activates, the crew explored the galaxy seeking salvation. Crusade suffered from network interference that forced Straczynski to compromise his vision, but the show's core concept remained compelling. The series explored post-war consequences and featured excellent performances from Gary Cole and Danielle Day Kim. And look, a lot of networks back in the day, and even now, I will say, seem to get in the way of creators because, the networks are the money players. They're the money behind the machine. So I get them being heavily involved, but I think sometimes to their own detriment. They think they understand more than they actually understand, and they actually get in the way of some of these shows. The next show, Journeyman, 2007. Kevin McKidd starred as Dan Vassar, a San Francisco journalist who involuntarily travels back in time, altering lives while complicating his relationship with his wife, Katie, Gretchen Egolf. The former fiancée, Livia Moon Bloodgood. The show blended science fiction with family drama, and as Dan struggled to balance his gift with present-day responsibilities, Journeyman's emotional depth set it apart from typical time travel shows. The series examined how changing the past affects the present while exploring themes of love, loss, and second chances. I wonder if it was kind of like a butterfly effect theme they were going for, like how all of these different things. Well, I guess it really wouldn't be one for one, but that's kind of what it sounds like. This is another show, but in 2007, like I cut the cord. What was it? Was this on a streaming service? Did it say what it was on? San Francisco? Nah, it doesn't say. In 2007, I had already cut the cord of cable. I was already exclusively watching things online and, buying DVDs. I just abandoned cable altogether. And it's funny now with all the different streaming services, it's about as expensive as cable, is or was. Debris 2021. It's another one I don't know anything about. CIA agent Brian Beneventi, Jonathan Tucker, and MI6 agent Finola Jones, Ryan Steele, investigated mysterious effects caused by debris from a destroyed alien spacecraft falling to Earth. Created by J.H. Wyman, the series explored how alien fragments altered human behavior and reality. Debris combined procedural elements with overarching mythology, creating a modern take on the X-Files formula. Interesting. The show's exploration of trust between international agencies and the nature of alien technology deserves more time to develop. There's a lot of shows that deserve more time to develop that just never really got their just reward. Sci-Fi was doing this a lot too. Sci-Fi really would get on my nerve sometime because they would have a show that would come out and I'm like, oh man, I love this show. And the next thing you know, on the chopping block. That used to make me so mad. Starhunter 2000 to 2004. I guess this kind of had a longer run. It's another show that I don't really remember this show at all. But my kids were so young. There was a whole space where my kids were really young and I was not paying attention to TV, entertainment, sports, or anything. My life revolved around spending time with the kids. When kids are young, man, they take up time, and rightfully so. It's enjoyable. If you have young kids, enjoy that time. This Canadian series, that's why it's Canadian, technically ran 2 seasons, but the second season completely reinvented the show. Season 1 followed bounty hunter Dante Montana, Michael Paré, is that how you say that? And niece Percy, Tanya Allen, pursuing criminals while searching for Dante's kidnapped son. The original concept deserved continuation rather than the radical change that followed. Set in the late 23rd century, Starhunter blended space adventure with family drama as the crew confronted external threats and personal demons in a lawless solar system. With what other one-season sci-fi shows deserve recognition alongside these forgotten gems? Let me know in the comments what shows you think should have got more seasons. I'm telling you, I could go on for a while on this topic because there are so many shows over the years that got cut short, and it seems like they had a huge fan following, like Firefly that was mentioned at the beginning of this article. These were shows that had such a fan following that there were outcries when they were canceled. It really makes me wonder sometimes what's going on at these networks. Are they actually paying attention to what the audience wants? But some of these shows I don't remember. The first 2 absolutely shows that should have been continued.